Here are the horoscopes for the week of the 1st to the 7th of April 2024. So we have a couple of things happening this week. Mercury turns retrograde on the 2nd, Venus meets with Neptune on the 3rd, and Venus moves into Aries on the 6th, all in preparation for the coming eclipse on the 8th. So let's break that down one by one. Mercury retrograde in Aries. It's going to go back from 27 to 15 degrees, if you can find that in your chart. What house, what aspects to natal planets. So from the 19th of March to the 2nd of April was the awareness stage, the pre-shadow. Then the 2nd of April to the 27th of April is the actual retrograde, and the 27th of April to the 14th of May is the post-shadow. So whatever was coming up for you between the 19th of March and today would have been signposts, flags in your conscious awareness as to what this retrograde is going to bring for you, what changes you can make. So for example, if this was happening in your 4th house, that would be a lot to do with your home, your roots, your family, your psychology. Any of those areas could have been coming up for reflection. That could involve a visit from the parents, or moving house, or reassessing who you are psychologically, maturing from the child to the adult, deciding what you stand on and for, and being able to release things that you've been holding on to too long from the childhood nest. So it is important to be able to see which section of our life this is happening. Then we can be more aware when the flags come up, can read the signposts, and we can make the adjustments. But we're now in the adjustment phase. And Aries is the child of the zodiac, and the coming eclipse on Monday will be conjunct Chiron, which is the childhood wound. So even if you're not following along with your chart or don't know how to, that's a big theme. People facing their victimhood, people going back to childhood wounds, seeing how they've made a complete story of them, incorporated them in a personality and belonged to them when that wasn't necessary at all. So when looking to explore victimhood, we're looking to see where we feel sorry for ourselves, where we feel separate, attacked, need to defend ourselves, or insecure. And the antidote to that is to step into the I, the soul self, that doesn't believe any of that, doesn't feel separate, doesn't feel sorry for itself, and is empowered enough to create its own world vibrationally. So that's a big theme that's coming up with the Mercury retrograde. Can we look at where we've taken life too personally, where we've taken ourselves too seriously, where we've developed a wounded personality, because that will attract more and more lessons until we finally learn that we're the ones that can change our future, and learning to let go of the past as it was a lesson, not a life sentence. And the Mercury retrograde is our ability to change our minds, to rethink, to revise. So it's a very mental, psychological aspect to go back and look at how something happened and see if we've made a molehill into a mountain or attached too strongly at the root level. Because by the 3rd of April, Venus meets with Neptune in Pisces, soon to move into Aries, and this is an opportunity to really rinse any sadness, any self-pity, any imaginings of how badly off we are or how badly we were treated, any sub-stories that we've incubated in our childhood imagination, held on to in the cells of our body and become saturated with. So Venus and Neptune are an octave apart. They're both the feminine. Venus is the earth feminine, Neptune the spiritual feminine. And again, to be able to rise from the poor little me and see ourselves as the I, as the one that's in constant receipt of inspiration, nourishment, love, creativity in unlimited waves. We can rise to our full potential as we let go of human emotions that we've carried for way too long. Because when Venus moves into Aries, this will really assist with the Mercury retrograde, adding the heart to the mind, and brings a bit of a rebirth as it crosses over the equinox point from Pisces to Aries, where we can actually feel aflame, excited, passionate, self-driven, higher self-driven, and activated by this particular alignment. But waiting until the 8th of April for the eclipse conjunct Chiron to really be able to let go of that wound once and for all. And that eclipse is at 19 degrees Aries, which falls into the retrograde degrees. So a composite week here really. Retrograde begins, turn our minds inwards, see where we've built up false beliefs, stories, problems, behaviours. Venus conjunct Neptune, we raise up to the higher frequency, start to rinse out some of our victimhood, belongs to the child wound. Venus into Aries, heralding a fresh start, but just waiting until after the eclipse, which may be able to burn out any last dregs of the lower self and help us re-embody on a higher level. So if you'd like to see where this is happening for you, I am available, zoehind7@gmail.com, for custom reading, courses and coaching. Customise each session to suit your exact needs, and all sessions are recorded MP3 for you to keep, with pictures of your chart or the cards. So everything gets very active from next week. Final few days of letting go of the old self, the lower self, the separate self. But during a retrograde, honouring that process and making the necessary changes. So I feel for this week, one phrase that comes to mind is write your plans in pencil and your dreams in pen. You can still use that imagination, the excitement and the passion that we've been bringing in to create feelings of our visions for the future, but it's still the why, not the how, that matters for this week. Why we want to do something is much more important than how we go about putting it into motion. That will very much come from deep within us as we clear the eclipses and the personal planets all start to transit through Aries. So a good combination here of mind and feeling. Make them both work for you. Delete anything that's working against you, especially if it's become a habit. But at root, it's not even true or nothing to do with the elevated self that you're creating now. So those are the horoscopes this week, and I'll see you next week.